So, first of all, this is a study where victims were the centre of your report. And what did they tell you?
That's right. So multiple data sources have been showing that attacks on shop workers have been increasing substantially in recent years. So 115 violent attacks every single day for people working in supermarkets and convenience stores. So there's a real concern here because this was being dismissed as a problem for businesses. It's simply a retail crime. But behind each and every one of these statistics is an individual who has come into serious harm or trauma as a direct result. So the study was commissioned by the Co-op to begin to humanise the statistics and the data. So I interviewed shop workers who'd fallen victim to these attacks, but also offenders to try and better understand what was actually taking place.
And what was really interesting is the focus you had on the effect that it actually has on shop workers. And what did they tell you exactly?
Yeah, so obviously there's physical injuries, and whilst they are, of course, concerning, what we also found was that there's severe and long-term mental health consequences of suffering a violent incident or prolonged verbal abuse that occurs over a lengthy amount of time. And so shop workers were saying that they are suffering panic attacks, anxiety, and even in the most serious incidents, post-traumatic stress disorder, more commonly associated with police officers and those that work in the military.
And so who are the offenders? Why do they lash out in this way?
The report revealed that there's four main scenarios. The most common one was encountering shoplifters, and this is in a quarter of all incidents. A shop worker simply comes across somebody who is stealing goods and not wanting to be apprehended or the police called, they become aggressive and violent so that they can leave the store. The second most common was where shop workers uphold legislation. There's more than 50 items under various different acts that shop workers have to uphold the law. So this might be age-related sales, alcohol, tobacco, bladed items, acid. There's so many. And those shop workers are personally responsible for upholding those laws. And this is putting them in quite a dangerous and precarious position. The other two key scenarios were hate-related incidents. So frontline workers in shops are really bearing the brunt of racist or religious focused hate incidents, which is really concerning. The fourth category was armed robberies, and they're also at their highest rate since 2012. 3,000 incidents of armed robbery just in the last year alone.
So what can be done to turn this around, to reduce these number of physical and verbal attacks?
So violence is a very complex issue, and there's no one a solution for this. So the report that I've produced has 7 key recommendations, which I believe, if implemented, will begin to turn the tide on the levels of violence that we're seeing. And they include changes in legislation, and they also include various recommendations for industry where they can better support shop workers.
OK.